Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath, coming at you from the Blue Room today, and I want to talk to you about my Father's Day, basically my Father's Day haul. Now listen, Father's Day is not a day to celebrate stuff, okay? So I have to say that up front. It's a day to honor your father. It's a day about family. But as it happens in our house, the way we do holidays like this is we just kind of give each other permission to go do some shopping. So like Christmas, birthdays, things like that. We just give each other the allowance to go pick up some things. And so that's what I did. And it actually worked out really well because there were a lot of cool sales going on the last 7 days or so. It seemed like everybody was price matching everybody. There's a lot of competition going on this last week or so. It was also the PlayStation Days of Play sale. It all kind of benefited this awesome Father's Day score. So I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the things that I picked up because it's a lot of the stuff that we celebrate here on the channel. I'm going to start out with the Criterion Collection release of Detour. Now, this is a film noir classic. It's also one of those golden age of Hollywood. It's just stone cold classic. It's a 1945 movie. It's very short. It's a B movie, but it is super influential. It is highly regarded. And the weird thing about this movie, or the notable thing about this movie, is it has never really looked great. There's been a lot of, there's some problems with the elements that we always thought were baked in. Well, they were baked in. Some problems with the source material, scratches, nicks, missing frames, things like that. But enter the Criterion Collection. This thing has been the subject of a lengthy restoration, and it looks stunning. It looks amazing. Frankly, nobody can believe it looks as good as it does. So this went on sale on Amazon, I believe, and this is like a $40 Blu-ray. It just came out less than 3 months ago. It was like between 2 and 3 months ago is when this thing came out. It was like $17, $17.49, I want to say is what it was. So you guys know for a Criterion disc to be under 20 is a big deal. For a new one to be that price is unheard of. So I had to snag that. I also grabbed Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13th Ghost. This is a direct-to-DVD movie that is essentially the sequel / conclusion to an old school Scooby-Doo series called The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Now this has kind of a rabid fan following, kind of it's a cult classic amongst Scooby fans. And the idea behind the series was kind of cool to begin with because, well, you're missing a couple of the Scooby gang. And there's also this kid sidekick in the movie. But what like Vincent Price is basically a main character in this show, and he's not himself, but Vincent Price was always kind of Vincent Price, right? So he's like the narrator and the conceit behind the whole series. And the Scooby gang, by way of this kid sidekick, release 13 ghosts into the ether, and they have to track them all back down. And so they were able to they cover like 12 of the 13 ghosts in this series, but they never cover the 13th ghost. And so decades pass, fans scratch their chins, and then Warner Brothers gives us this. This came out in February of 2019. It's a new release, and it is basically the conclusion of the series. And obviously, Vincent Price has left us, but the person doing Vincent Price in this movie does a stellar job. They're doing a great Vinny P. You know, I love Vinny P. The bummer of this is that this is DVD and digital only. There's no Blu-ray for this. And it's almost like salt in the wound because at the beginning of the new Scooby-Doo movies, the Almost Complete Collection, those Blu-rays that I just reviewed for the channel, they have a promo for this movie at the beginning of the Blu-rays, and it's so crisp and it's like high definition. It's like, oh, but the joke of that is you can only buy it on digital and DVD. There's no Blu-ray, but maybe one day it'll come to Warner Archive, and if it does, I'll grab it because this is super cool to have. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about, I revere. I grabbed Batman the Animated Series, the complete series. This also features Mask of the Phantasm, the movie from 1993, I believe it was, on Blu-ray, as well as Batman Sub-Zero, which was a late 90s VHS release. But you guys, I love, you know what? That's not even strong enough. Batman the Animated Series is a life-changing television show for me because I can actually divide my life before Batman the Animated Series and after. This was appointment television for me every single afternoon. I would come home from school. I would spend the next day at school drawing the designs from Batman the Animated Series. I loved it, and I still love it. I remember the premiere. It premiered, it had a night, like an evening premiere, and it was a Catwoman episode, probably because Batman Returns was in the the vicinity of when this was released, and they were still hyping. You know, Catwoman was a big part of Batman Returns. I think they were kind of going for that cross promotion. But I remember it had a prime time release. I was like, what cartoon has a prime time release? Well, this one did, a premiere. And I have always loved this series. I have the DVDs, and when they released this on Blu-ray the first time, of course, it was like this big deluxe edition with like Funko Pop stuff in there and like a book and all these different tchotchkes. And if you've seen my video about DVD and Blu-ray packaging, I'm kind of just like, I want this. I want a slim, shelfable, easily accessible set, and so I was holding out for this, and I finally dropped to a price this week that I was super comfortable paying. This is my prize of the entire Father's Day haul that I was able to grab. This is the winner right here. We'll do a future video on this because obviously I have mad respect for this show, the movies. There's a bonus disc of special features. I do actually, you know, we're talking about Detour the Noir. I do believe that one of the reasons that I identify with film noir as much as I do is partially because of Batman the Animated Series. Because obviously this was so influenced by the Fleischer Brothers animation of the 30s, animation of the 40s, the Warner Brothers animation of the 40s. It's steeped in all that stuff. So we'll have to dig deeper into that in a future video. There were also some really sweet 4K deals going on this week, and you guys know we just upgraded to 4K, and coincidentally the channel became all about 4K immediately, right? No, of course not. But I did grab Bumblebee, the 4K. I hadn't picked this one up at all yet. I was kind of waiting for a good price or a good sale. If you've been hanging out on the channel for a while, you know that Bree and I did a review for this, the opening weekend of Bumblebee. I loved it. For me, the live action Transformers movies, this is the best of the best. Listen, there's a scene that takes place on Cybertron in this movie. I want a trilogy on Cybertron. Call it the War for Cybertron. Give me the old school 80s Transformers. It was a huge step in the right direction for me, the kind of things that I want from a Transformers live action movie. Outside of the source material of like the cartoon, the original Sunbow cartoon, and the comics, the Marvel comics, this is about as good as Transformers gets to me. So I'm really excited to have the 4K slash Blu-ray of that. Also grabbed Creed 2. I haven't seen this yet, but I love Creed 1. I love all the Rocky movies. For that matter, I basically love Sylvester Stallone's entire career. He's kind of like, I almost feel like he was a mentor me growing up. Like growing up in the 80s, Stallone was almost like a father figure, which is weird for Father's Day. We're talking about that, but there's a lot of wisdom in the Rocky movies and even kind of in the Rambo movies. But hey, it ain't about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Also, I don't shop here. That's from Cobra. That's from a different movie. But I love Stallone. I think he's my number 2 favorite actor behind Kurt Russell. Obviously, Kurt Russell, number 1. But I think Stallone's probably my number 2. So I'm really excited to see Creed 2, which also brings back Dolph Lundgren as the Russian. And I love Dolph Lundgren too. You know, he's actually like the super intelligent guy. He went to MIT, no joke. So I love both of those guys. I'm really excited about this movie. If I could change, and you could change, maybe everybody could change. Thank you. I also grabbed Robin Hood on 4K. This was, by the way, these two were at Target for $13. That was cheaper than the Blu-ray price. You get the 4K cheaper than the Blu-ray. Actually, I think the Blu-rays might have dropped as well. But at $13 was a really good deal. I was like, yes, now is the time. Robin Hood was, I think, $14 maybe. $14.99. We all know that change doesn't count, right? $14.99 is really $14, right? That's how that works, right? But you guys know I love Robin Hood. You know that Robin Hood is like a theme behind this channel. And this is one of the only Robin Hoods that I haven't seen yet because frankly the reviews weren't great. It seems a little too revisionist or maybe a little too hipster. I don't know. It seemed to have left some people cold, but I don't know. I'm going to give it a shot. It's got Taron Egerton in it, who we all know is getting tons of respect and mad props as Elton John in the Rocket Man biopic. And so here he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do the Robin Hood. Rails of Robin Hood. Robin Hood. Yeah. That was terrible, and I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I had to go for it. You have to go for it. So that's the movies. And there are some games that I wanted to talk to you guys about. The first one I can't even show you because it was a digital purchase. Now you're like, what, digital on Cereal at Midnight? Well, there is no physical purchase for the game Cuphead. It's a digital only release. I think it originally came out on the Xbox 360. No, sorry, the Xbox One. I don't have an Xbox. It just got ported over to the Switch recently. I do have a Switch. So it went on sale and I downloaded it. Now, Cuphead, in case you don't know, is a game that is basically an homage to 30s animation. So it looks like a 30s cartoon, sounds like a 30s cartoon, it plays just like that stuff. I'm going to reference Fleischer Brothers animation again. That's the second time in this video. I'm talking about Popeye. I'm talking about some of that old, early animation. Well, let's even go early Disney, like Silly Symphonies, things like that. The Looney Tunes, early Looney Tunes stuff. It's that just from black and white, just moving into color, that kind of a thing. And the game is hard as balls. There's no way around it. It is ridiculously hard, but it's not hard in a way that makes you frustrated at the game. It's hard in a way that makes you frustrated at yourself because you know you can do better. And every time something happens, you know it's not the game's fault. It's your fault for not being quite good enough. The game demands perfection, and if you don't achieve that perfection, it's your fault. It's totally on you. It does not hold your hand. So it just makes it clear how many games hold your hand now. This also sounds like a little bit like an abusive relationship. Like they demanded perfection, and it was my fault that I couldn't be perfect for them. But it's a really good game, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And when you do succeed and triumph over some of those ridiculous fights or those ridiculous levels, it's the glory is like so much more amplified because it's a real achievement. And one of the other things that I picked up because of Cuphead, it's like customers who buy Cuphead also buy Bendy and the Ink Machine. Bendy and the Ink Machine. Bendy! So this is basically kind of a similar kindred kind of a thing, but with a horror slant. So the idea is this: like you used to work in a 30s animation studio. Tragedy has befallen the animation studio. You go back, the place is abandoned, and it's kind of haunted by the ghosts of the creations from the animation studio. So it's kind of an homage to that 30s thing that we keep talking about in this episode, this video. But it's also maybe like a BioShock kind of a horror thing where you're, vast, open spaces that are kind of creepy. You hear noises, you hear footsteps, you don't know where they're coming from. People love this game. This seems like it's the kind of game that maybe Hot Topic was made for, but I'm going to give it a shot. I don't know when I'm going to give it a shot because obviously I have other things. Cuphead is priority number one, you guys. But it was a great price. I was able to grab that. And then, of course, PlayStation Days of Play was this last week, and I got 3 releases during that as well. So I've been holding off on Spider-Man, but I finally did it. I pulled the trigger on Spider-Man. This is one of those games that I've been wanting for a while. I was holding off because honestly, I don't play games like day and date of release. I always wait till they kind of come down in price because they always do, and I can wait. You get the Game of the Year edition for $19.99 down the road. I don't know if there will be a Game of the Year edition for this. Let's face it, there probably will. But it was $19.99. It dropped by half price. It was $40. Well, it was $60, then it was $40, and then it came down to $19.99 for this sale week. And you guys, I love Spider-Man so much. He's my special boy, and I've really wanted to play this, so now is the time. I'm really excited about digging into this. I also grabbed Horizon Zero Dawn, the complete edition. Now, full disclosure, so this was $9.99. That's a great price for this release. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm obviously going to play this, but I don't know if this is one of those games that basically requires you to just give up your life. Like a Red Dead Redemption 2. You guys know I don't have great things to say. I did a video game review about Red Dead Redemption 2. And my complaint about that game is that I don't want to live my life inside of this game. I don't want to shave in a game. I don't want to have to spend 45 minutes driving to the store on my horse to go get some more, some Clorox to clean up the kitchen floor. I don't want to do that in a video game. I want to have fun. I want to escape. So this seems like it's the kind of game that you could spend a lot of time in, but it also seems like a really cool environment. Post-apocalypse, there's a lot of technology, like animals are the technology. There's this weird hybrid thing where you're harvesting these machines and using them to build better weapons. It seems really cool, and I have heard a lot of people say that this is their favorite game of the year that it came out. So $9.99. That's the right price for that. Also, the right price. This is the last thing. This is Until Dawn. I grabbed Until Dawn for $9.99. This is basically a cabin in the woods horror game that lasts 10 to 12 hours, and I think I can do that. I can split that 10 to 12 hours over 4.5 months, and really, no, I'm just kidding. But this seems doable for me. It's in chapters of like 1 hour, and basically, like, I think Rami Malek is in this. You are in the woods with your friends, and every decision that you make, like, there's something coming after you, and every decision that you make has an implication. It can make this person could die. You can save this person, but you have to sacrifice this person. If you go after this thing, you're going to be leaving this person by themselves. Like, every consequence has, they call it the butterfly effect gaming system. So it seems really cool. You can play it over and over and over with different results. I'll probably play it once, but it seems like something that's going to be really fun. So I grabbed this as well. And that is going to do it for the Father's Day haul of stuff. So what did you guys do? You know, how did you spend your Father's Day? Did you hang out with your father? If your father's not here, how did that go? Were you thinking about him? Let's talk about, you know, it's about the people. It's always about the people. So let's talk about that. How you guys doing? Guys, thank you very much. I appreciate you. And until next time, I will catch you later.